Okay, so I won't be here long with y'all today because, well, I'm trying to basically gather all my reserves, all of my energy, um, and prepare for what me and my son are facing. But I did want to pull up, I told you all I would share screenshots of things that I've been doing to attempt to actually connect with humans. Now, to be fair, my attempt to connect with humans, I'm attempting to connect with people who, not just randos, but even people that I've invested in, people that I have followed, people that I've had, paid for services on numerous occasions, So it's not like I'm just reaching out to strangers, though I am also reaching out to strangers, trying to see if I connect with any, decent human beings. But I wanted to add that because it's like, you know, part of what I'm doing is like, okay, so the person have some kind of an experience with you. Okay, so it's not like they're totally blank slated and I'm just like this total random stranger. Now, in Ralph's case, I'm a stranger to him, but I'm not a stranger. I've been following him and supporting, he was one of the forerunners of my, going down that rabbit hole. And now, at first, I couldn't even see the comments, okay? I couldn't, when I went back to see what was done with the comment, I couldn't see it, okay? Then I went back again, and then he did respond, okay? So I want to be fair, okay? I'm not somebody who just want to be saying stuff that's not factual. So he did respond, okay, but we want to talk about, look at the weight. These are the things that is screaming eerie to me and eerie to lots of people, okay. For whatever reason people are operating this way, it's neither here nor there, okay. um because people have their reasons for doing what they do, saying what they say. But look at my comment. It says blooming truth. This was actually 2 days ago, but I had screenshotted it yesterday. It says blooming truth now, which is me. It says, because I liked the video and I did. Okay, that's not a lie. Okay, it says seriously off is an understatement. Ralph, do you have a portal that I can send an important message? Me and my adult disabled son are being targeted. Connecting with 211 hasn't served. Can't find any human, sovereign, like minded beings in Las Vegas. Let me know. I don't want to plunge your platform. That was me attempting to be respectful. That statement coming from me, I was trying to honor. What I was doing was saying, hey, I'm not somebody that's trying to get, because you get all kinds of stuff in social media. You get people they'll be trying to come in on your stuff, and basically what they're doing is they're trying to hitchhike basically off of you. Like, you see what I'm saying? Or they're trying to like get some kind of exposure and attention. And so I was like, I need to say this because the only reason why I'm here is because this seems to be the only way I can get to anybody. Otherwise, I would much rather prefer private interaction, to be frank. Okay? Because it's it's too many eyes on the public shit. And I am aware that the eyes that are on the public shit are many of my haters and those that are a part of targeting me and my son. So this is someone's last resort, trying to get to the actual humans, not just their interface, not just their app that they built, actual human. Okay? And I said, let me know. I want to plunge your platform. The real people, well, I should have said like the humans, the real people outside, because he talks a lot about like you have to go outside, like you need to go outside. to connect with people. And I get that. I get where he's coming, but maybe this part eludes him, or maybe he has been, because a lot of people do end up, it's the name of the game, okay? Spirituality is no different. It's no different than Hollywood. I'm just going to be frank. Okay? It is no different. People sometimes start off as sincere. How many Hollywood motherfuckers that we know, they started out as legit? Let's be honest. Okay? They get corrupted. Because if they want to make it in the biz, okay, is you want to make it or is So they may start out down to earth. They may start out true to who they really are and their background, and and decent, and going in and not wanting to hurt anybody, and not wanting to, you see what I'm saying? But that's, you going into the wrong arena if you're trying to be getting into Hollywood. And that's how this gonna roll. you know Sports, entertainment, politics, spirituality, and religion is no different. Okay. That statement at the end where I said the real people outside and around me was not meant to be douchey either. See, the thing about when you're typing things, people can't always sense into where you are coming from when they're just reading words, which is one of the fucking reasons why I be wanting to talk to people, because for this reason, reading, interpreting people's language and word choice and selection can often be misconstrued. It's something about talking to somebody in real time, because you get to, if you see them, you get their body language, but you can also hear the inflections in their voice, the tones, and all those other things that help you to pick up more from the body language than you are from reading a text. Some people, I'm old fashioned like that. People have really become so disconnected. Anyway, I wasn't trying to be douchey there. I was just simply saying my attempt, because there's been several attempts, my attempt to connect with human beings that are outside and around me either seem to be too disconnected to where they cannot, they're on an autopilot and they're just zombied out. Okay? Jaded, zombied out, whatever you want to call it, or they're actually involved in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Okay, in the bullshit. And his response was, what do you see there? He liked it. You see that he gave it a love. So I wanted to come back and retract, because there's content creators that downright ignore. And so I wanted to come back and say, okay, I was wrong. He did not ignore me. Okay. But the response is a pleasure, and like the what is that? The celebrate thinking about. What help me? Am I special needs? Do I need to get on a short yellow bus? Do I need a helmet? Because help me. Somebody's going to like, did she say that? I said that because, I might not be the sharpest pencil in the pencil box. I'm being silly. I know I'm pretty intelligent, but I know that I don't know everything. And that's the part that keeps me asking questions, because it's like, the moment you feel like you got all the answers, you know everything, you're already on your slope, you're on your way down. So his response to that meaty statement of mine, a pleasure. I want somebody to chew on that and help me, tell me if I'm wrong. Do you feel like that is a suitable response considering what I typed, what I asked? Is that a disconnected statement? Is that, we talk a lot about how humans are becoming narcissistic, how they are becoming self-absorbed. You see it? I can't stay long today because I have to reserve my for what I'm facing. I got some stuff that I'm trying to do to help me and my son in the background to prepare. But many years ago, I want to say 2018, maybe even before then, I started doing this series and I would talk about the theory of nose blindness, but how it applied energetically, spiritually. The literal nose blindness is what we know, what we've come to know as the phenomenon. If you're in a space for a period of time, there's an adaptation to your own scent, to your own fragrance, to your own smell, or that environment. As you sit 12 hours, 13 hours, 24 hours, there's an adaptation. Even if you smell it, at some point, there is an adaptation to it to where it's not as profound, it's not as pungent, it's not as sharp. It's not that it went away. If nothing has been done to make it go away, it's not that it went away. It's simply that there's been an adjustment, there's been an adaptation. That's normal, but it's nose blindness. Now, someone who has not been in that environment at all, and they're coming from the outside, and they were to walk right into that same environment that hasn't changed, neither up or down. The scent has remained, but for them, when they walk in, it's not that they are supreme. It's not that there's some kind of supreme being. It's not that they got some kind of special, it's that they have not been exposed to that. And that their nose picks it up with its full effect. So for them, it's going to be, it'll have a hit depending on what that scent is. It could be a smell good scent. I didn't say if it was a smell good or smell bad. I just said nose blindness. It can even be something that is a smell good scent. Let's say you've been sitting in cinnamon pine cones, but your nose has adapted to it and it doesn't seem to hold that same spice. Somebody coming in, but like, oh my God, this smells great. This is so smells, you know what I'm saying? So don't take it as I'm saying everything to do with negative. It's the nose blindness, the adaptation to one's own state, one's own environment, one's own scent because of being in it. I'm starting to believe that that's the condition of humanity in general. That's my personal humble opinion. That we can talk about, and I say we because I am not an exception to the nose blind theory. The self-awareness, the intentional self-reflective energy is what helps us to then pick up on our blindness. I don't know if that makes sense, but it helps us to then catch it because we're all subjected to it. I'm starting to believe that we have all become good at a lot of things, and it's valid. But I believe that as a species of beings, we're still weak in this area. And I say weak because it requires a self-awareness and a self-reflectiveness to catch our own blindness. I believe this is where we're still weak. And I said we, you heard me correctly. I didn't say them, I didn't say they, I said we. What are we defining as self absorption? What are we defining as being disconnected? What does that actually look like in practicality outside of a sentence? What does it look like in behavioral terms? Can we tell? Can we sense? Now I'm gonna play a devil's advocate a little bit when it comes to social media, especially those that are large. It's hard to know often the difference between a legit person that is sincerely following your stuff and living it and witnessing it versus a groupie. A groupie, a fan, a wannabe starlet, because I mean, let's get real. You know, people be trying to get discovered. Yes, sir. But look, I've been following around since 2018. So that's not my vibe. Me reaching out to social media, the ones that I've invested in, like there's people I've paid for memberships and I'm saying, I'm talking about things I've invested, not fly by night. So I'm just gonna put that out there. The only reason that I have even attempted to connect with humans via commenting on their content because there's no other way to get to them. Not because I'm trying to hitchhike off of their fame or notoriety. That's the last thing on my mind at this time in my life. My priority is I am a mother. The last thing that I'm concerned with at this time is becoming some kind of starlet. The last thing I'm concerned with is trying to get discovered on somebody's social media. I find this that we're dealing with, this is not something that I would willingly just want. That's not my vibration. Would much rather deal with humans on the phone or in person or some type of a private interaction of sorts, whether that be email, one-on-one type thing, to where I'm not trying to hijack your fame. I'm not trying to be associated with your name. I'm not trying to steal your fan base. I'm not trying to that ain't even what I care about right now. I'm trying to see if I can, people talk the jazz about finding like minded people. I'm trying to find like minded people. People talk the jazz, you got to go outside. Well, outside where I'm at, ain't none. So, or they'll be doing some kind of weirdo code signal. When I try to have an actual real human, decent interaction with them. Bear with me 1 second. And as is predictable of what they do when I go online, they start doing weirdo energy stuff to pull my son to come outside. So I have to address that. And I took care of that. But back to what I was saying. I have attempted to connect, to do the very things that many gurus, leaders, and teachers are barking at us every day on their videos. And what I'm getting is closed doors. What I'm running into is a bunch of cult members doing their weirdo signals. What I'm running into is people that get monetary gain for isolating, shutting out, playing games, or just very disconnected communication styles and tactics. That is what I get when I attempt to actually interact. I reached out, like I said, some are randos, and then some are people that I've, like I said, I've either paid for their services on numerous of occasions, okay, or I have invested. So in some of these cases, people do have experience with me. Not Ralph, okay. Ralph is, I followed him, but he's pretty large, so I'm not referencing him in that respect. But I reached out to someone that and this person I liked. There are people that I did run across in Vegas when I initially, first came here many years ago. And I liked certain people. I did. I liked them. I liked their vibe. I liked their services. I liked it. And I even got services from some of them after I left Vegas. Yeah. And me attempting to find people that are okay, they say you gotta find, like-minded people. You gotta get connected. And you gotta get connected. And you gotta stay connected. And you gotta, that's what you hear. You can't isolate. You gotta find community. It takes a village. Exactly. So why am I getting cryptic communication from people? Why am I getting the statement that you're looking at? He couldn't even invest with a whole sentence. There wasn't, oh, it is terrible that you're going through that. It wasn't even no cool new age, no cool spiritual, may you be well shit, May you be well, may you and your son find, none of that. get none of that. And when I attempted to connect to someone I've had services with, again, it was very clinical. It was very scripted, standard. I'll pray for you that a way is made. So that's what most spiritualists and religious people want to do. They want to pray for people that a way is made. They never want to be a part of that way, though. They never want to consider, even though they reference angels, God, source, and all these things, they never once want to consider that they are a part of the way. I don't say that they were the only way, but that they may have very well been being guided to be a part of, because it's humans at the end of the day. They don't want it to be them, though. See, that's what the real truth is. So they'll say something like, okay, and then, like I said, the cryptic communication. This is what I'm experiencing. It's not the first time either. This happened when we were, what was that, San Bernardino or wherever the fuck we were. This trying to keep me in this oscillation of hope and despair. That's sadistic for people who claim to be spiritual. For people who claim to be connected to source or God, for people who claim to be, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is, they claim to be intellectual, intelligent, philanthropist, enlightened, whatever that is, that's cryptic and it's sadistic to cryptically communicate with somebody in crises or looking for connections and resources and keep them oscillating. Oh, you have a, I picked it up right away though. I picked it up because it's the standard. They don't veer from their script. They're gonna always do the exact same move with different people. When you're in the middle of a crisis, you're in the middle of turmoil. All right, they're gonna reach out to so-and-so, and then we're gonna let, blah, blah, blah. And then the person, I'm like, oh, you have a Zelly, when they know you don't have a Zelly. Or do you have a Venmo, when they know you don't have a Venmo. Next time they pull that one on me though, I'm a fuck up the whole little script, and it's gonna still flop in the first place. I'm gonna fuck up the whole script. I'm gonna lie. Whatever they ask, I'm gonna say I got it and see what the fuck they do. Whatever they ask, because see, the whole strategy is ask if they got something that they know that I don't. So whatever they say, I'm gonna say yeah. Next time somebody pull that bullshit, the next time somebody want to act like to try to keep me oscillating between hope and despair, or to try to pull me into some chasing and some begging and something that they're not gonna fucking do in the first place, the next time, and I'm waiting for the next time somebody say, oh, send a message, a text, do you have it? Like, yep. I'm just gonna say yeah, just so I can see if the conversation gonna drop anyway, like it typically does. These are people that talk the love and light game. They talk about Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael. They talk about Yeshua. They talk about all of these things. Aware of my son's disability, provided services for us. These are those folks. So it should make sense that I have to step out of the box. I have to do things unorthodox. I have to do things that maybe I don't really want to necessarily do. I'm not intended to intrude on people's businesses. It's not my intent. I am not trying to become famous. I am a mother trying to navigate this weird shit of me and my kids somehow, some way, being a sacrifice for people. And for those who are not ready to accept that, well, at the base, bottom line, bare minimum, I'm a mother. I am not playing a victim. I am a mother that is simply trying to find her way to stabilize for her and her kid. Trying to find if there's any human kindness that isn't attached to some kind of poisonous venom left. That's who I am. Now I gotta go because I have to finish cleaning up me and my son's energy and preparing for what I have to deal with. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time. I was gonna keep a marathon going, but I didn't see any of you contribute out there. That's why I say the things I say. I am aware that most of the activity is by the very ones that are benefiting off of hurting or blocking me and my son. I am not here for any likes. That's not what this is right now. I'm not here for likes, follows, shares, subscribes. I am creating a digital footprint, a digital journal of what is happening to me and my son's life. And I am attempting, hoping that something will slip through the controlled cracks and get to an actual real human. Get to a human that hasn't been altogether seared in their consciousness, that hasn't altogether been jaded, because it's a mixed bag. Some people are just extremely jaded because they have dealt with the vermin, the cesspool of trash. And because of it, they're just all, they don't trust nothing at all. So they're just jaded, and they wouldn't even be able to sense, feel, or know when there's somebody that's dealing with there's a sincere situation, a sincere person. They can't pick it up. There's some people, their own prejudices and biases have their minds too convoluted. So this is really dedicated in the hopes to slipping through to some legit people and put in that digital footprint, because this is real and this has happened. And come what may, whatever happens to me and my son, I'm banking on some of the things that I've created on various platforms to somehow be a record and slip through and get to the right people, or the ones that aren't, bullied, blackmailed, scared, all of this stuff. There's some people, they're cowards. And I know people think I'm saying that in the way to be sassy, but I'm not. They're cowards, that they are scared. And they rather it be me and my son to be sacrificed than to stand for truth and justice. And what I find funny is that same attitude, niggas would still be full-fledged slaves and on full-fledged plantations, not just the plantation that the world is actually in. African Americans will actually still be full-fledged in that if everybody allowed themselves to remain in cowardice energy. I am afraid if everybody stay afraid, we wouldn't have the fake liberties that we've got. We wouldn't be able to ride on the bus with Lululemon Linda. We wouldn't be able to, you know what I'm saying, in the same restaurant. We wouldn't be able to eat in the same area of the restaurant. We wouldn't be able to vote, which we ain't gonna get into all of that, but we wouldn't be able to do any of these things if every black person and every authority that had a position to be able to do something, or those who just said, hey, I don't want to live like this no more, come hell or high water, we gonna die tonight. We are going to die tonight. We're going to die fighting for freedom. And there are people that died so that we can have it, only to end up becoming even more cowardly. Now that's gonna hit like a ton of bricks somebody.